Cooper.
Friday, April 23rd, 2010, filling in for Regis today, 360 himself, Anderson Cooper. Let's just get right to it. You are spectacular, and we thank you for being here.
So it's funny, I was riding the subway the other day, and this kid comes up to me, and, you know, I'm thinking, all right, you know, he's gonna like ask for something, an autograph or whatever, or maybe directions, or you know, and he says to me,
autograph
"Oh, hey,
or directions?"
Well, maybe I didn't. Maybe you know, I don't want to assume he knows it.
Right.
Anyway, so he comes up and goes, "Hey, you're Anderson Cooper. You look a lot weaker in person."
He did not say that.
I kid you not.
He did not say that.
I'm not kidding. I was like, weaker? And then I started being like, well, you know, I was in Haiti, I've lost like 15 pounds, and then I'm like, why am I explaining myself to this person?
You are a perfection.
And then he went on to tell me that he was a journalism student, and did I have any pointers for getting into journalism? I was like, well, learn how to, you know, say nice things to people,
That's
maybe.
Right. Fan a person's ego a
Don't
little
insult
bit.
a person right off the get-go.
I don't think you look weaker. I think you look even more powerful.
Yeah, I told him he just needed a permit for the gun show, but, you know...
That's right.
Yeah,
You don't mess with the coops.
Weaker all day long. I was thinking, like, would you ever go up to somebody and say,
yes, right in your head.
Yes, weaker, really? Anyway. I reported him to the police anyway.
Good for you.
I said he looked very suspicious, and you know they seemed to.
And they took you
seriously. They took him away, of course. Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah. How you been?
I'm great. I'm thrilled to see you.
Yeah. I'm very happy to be seen.
What have you been working on at work? I heard like a lot of you did some brilliant reporting on bullying.
I've been doing a lot of stuff on bullying. Yeah, there was
I think it's a very important.
It's a huge deal. I mean, obviously with kids, you must worry about that all the time.
I worry about it all the time because I think that my kids' school, they did this this study project in ethics, and I think a lot of schools are doing this where they ask the kids to take a piece of paper and crumple it up and crumple it up and crumple it up, and they said, okay, now flatten out the piece of paper, make it flat, make it smooth again, and the kids it's wrinkled, and they say that's what happens when you bully somebody. Your words leave a mark forever that changes that person forever.
Well, it also seems like it's changed from the way it was when we were kids, or, well, I don't know about you, but I'm probably much older.
Yeah, much.
But now that with online stuff,
it's much
the
worse.
bullying continues far beyond school. It goes online. It does, it doesn't matter where you are. So, yeah, I think
it's a much scarier time, I think, in general for kids.
Yeah, there have been a lot of terrible incidents recently, especially one in Massachusetts with a young girl, Phoebe Prince, who was bullied, ended up committing suicide. So, yeah, we're trying to do a lot about it on the program.
Yeah,
so.
I've been hearing. I have to admit, I haven't been watching much TV, but I have been. I've been hearing about your brilliant reporting.
Well, thank you.
Through Twitter.
So, Kate Gosselin is on the program today.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw this picture in the one of the papers of her walking through the airport. Can you imagine what it's like walking through the airport with all these kids? What? Like traveling for me is bad, and all I have is my little like carry-on pillow.
I actually.
Because I will not use those pillows, which are like basically petri dishes.
Right.
They're not even pillows. They're like it's a puff of some synthetic material covered with a disgusting plastic sheet that other people have used and slobbered on and left their hairs on.
It always has a hair.
And they leave it on your seat as if it's fresh and new, Yeah. And you pick it up and you're like, what the heck is? And plus, it's so small. It's like this. It's like.
It's actually like the gauze
and then you try to fold it up and like. It's the most ridiculous thing.
It's the gauze from the dentist they put in your mouth when you have work done.
The worst, it's almost as bad as those blankets, which are literally like this big, and you're like trying to figure out
where should I put this.
Yeah. So, so she got voted off Dancing with the Stars.
I was devastated about that.
You were devastated.
Yeah, I could watch her dance all day long.
So the funny thing is, I get an email about 2 weeks ago, about a week ago, from my mom, and which always makes me a little nervous because she's recently kind of learned how to use the internet.
She's very good.
Yeah. So, is she now bombarding you with emails?
No, she doesn't bombard me, but we are email friends.
Oh,
how dare you?
Okay. So anyway, so I get this email from her. It was like at 1 a.m. at night. It was late at night, and she said, I didn't want to tell you this earlier because I didn't want to get you upset, and I wanted to wait until after April 1st because I didn't want you to think this was some sort of an April Fool's Day joke. But I've decided to accept an offer to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Stop.
That's what my heart actually stopped. And she said, please don't try to talk me out of it. I've made up my mind. So I gave it, I passed out, and then luckily I had smelling salts. I revived, and so I emailed her back.
His own smelling salts.
I do. Yes. It's very Victorian. Yes. When I suffer from melancholia. So I don't know. A phrase they used in Victorian times. Anyway, I digress. So I text her back saying, "Are you kidding?" Which I thought was sort of neutral. And she emails me back a long email that clearly she'd been preparing. And she said, I'm not kidding. I've given it really some serious thought. We've been in negotiations for a long time. I'm 86 now, but my foxtrot is really good. I'm not sure about the paso doble, but I think I can work on it. Right? And she said, I really think it'd be fun. I enjoy dancing. So I let a night go by because I'm like, I'll pretend, I'll just give it time.
You let a sleepless night go by.
Yeah, of course, I could not sleep. You're right. I'm sitting there thinking, why is she doing this to me? Why, the erotic, she wrote an erotic novel last year. I'm like, the erotic novel wasn't enough to mortify me. Now she's going to go and dance with the stars. Next morning, I wake up. I wake up, and there's a blissful moment when you first wake up and you think this was some sort of hellish nightmare, and then you realize, no, it's actually your life.
This is really happening.
This is right. And so then I email her back, and I'm just like, I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but have you seen the program? Are you aware how physically demanding it is?
Right.
And finally, another day goes by of exchanges like this, where I'm vaguely, sort of passively, aggressively, begging her not to do this. And she finally, after 2 days, admits she's completely made up the whole thing. Yeah. And not only that, then she was kind of annoyed. She was like, how could you think I would possibly do this? I tried to think of the most ridiculous concept I could possibly imagine, which is me going on Dancing with the Stars. And how can you think I was actually serious? I'm like, there's a track record here.
I love your mom so much.
It's not as if, it's so out of the range of the possible. When my mom said to me a year ago, oh yeah, I'm publishing an erotic novel, I thought, there's no way. But then I actually saw it.
Did you read the erotic novel?
I had to help proofread it. Yeah.
You read the erotic novel?
Yeah.
And sure. Did it do anything for you?
No. That's a disturbing thought. No, it was fascinating. I didn't know. Yeah, it was really full on story of O kind of. Yeah. It wasn't like Barbara Cortland, kind of fuzzy covered romance novel.
No, it
was full on yeah.
What's the name of this book so we can run out and get it? I love that. But I love that you were mortified by it even more.
Mortified, yes.
Because I feel like I'm not allowed to mention him by name, but I have a 12-year-old, and I can't talk about him anymore on the air.
Really?
Because
he's reached 12.
He's that mortified just by me even being associated with him at all on any level. So if I were to write an erotic novel,
when was the moment? Was there a moment when suddenly you realized, oh my God, he's mortified by me?
Yeah, it was the day it was the day, I'll never forget it. He said, I am mortified by you. None of my friends know that you're my mother. Can you just walk over there?
But he's 12, so that'll only last for what, another 10 years?
10 years or something, right. Until he marries a woman that can't stand me. And then
the other thing I've suddenly learned is I have to get glasses.
Yeah.
I've reached the age, I'm 42, and for the last 2 years, I've been complaining in restaurants, the lights here are too dim. And then I saw this woman.
Regis? Oh, yeah. Where did you get that Anderson Cooper costume?
And then I was in a restaurant, and I saw this woman who had not only glasses, but glasses with floodlights on them that lit up. it was amazing. She was like, boop, and like a Klieg light went on. She was like a Cyclops. She was like from the X-Men, Cyclops.
She just wore her work glasses
it was amazing.
out to the restaurant.
Right, yeah. It was incredible. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. And then I went to the eye doctor the other day and he was like, I can't believe you waited this long to have glasses.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so are you wearing them? Are you wearing them?
No, I don't have them yet. That'll take me another several months to get around to
I know.
Yeah.
Didn't you go like 8 years without seeing the dentist?
I brushed my teeth. Someone in the audience went, ugh.
No, it's very unhygienic. We're all horrified. It was the only moment where there was a crack in the perfection. That was it.
Yes. Well,
that was it.
Yeah, but I did. I did.
So you've since gone.
I have since gone, and of course, when I went, the dentist, they were all like, "Who are you? Like, when you were last here in like 1967?"
1970s.
And sure enough, like I had a huge cavity that like it entailed like ripping out this whole side of my face, basically. Yeah. And then of course I realized like, oh yeah, it was always sort of painful, and then. But as we've talked about in this program, my dentist gives gas, which is the greatest.
Yeah, you said your dentist gives gas.
Yes.
I've actually had
Dr. Zabatura, he gives gas, and yes, he's now on to me because I request gas at for cleaning or even if I have to go
just
and
have
drop off
an X-ray taken.
Right.
I would like the gas.
If I walk by,
that lead shield really.
If I'm within a 10-block radius of his office, I go in and request gas, and so they're totally on to me. So.
Do you mind if I come in and have some gas and just read the Us Weekly? Which is so much fun, by the way. Us Weekly is fun, but Us Weekly on gas.
Right. My problem now is I can't read it. So,
I know. Well, you don't really read it. You just look at the pictures.
That's true.
Right? That's all. Well, we've got a big show
really
today.
Big program.
Drew Brees is here. Super Bowl MVP from the New Orleans.
Amazing guy. Also, the latest couple voted off Dancing with the Stars will perform. They're actually going to dance here. That would be, of course, Kate Gosselin and Tony Dovolani.
And the winners of Project Runway, I don't know if you saw this last night, Seth Aaron Henderson will be here.
And we conclude live Spring into Gardening Week when we take a look at worm composting.
As a matter of fact, I have some...
Oh, really?
I just don't like the worms. I know that they're important for the earth, but I don't like a worm.
Wow.
Shake it up a bit and they'll move around.
You want me to make them move?
Yeah, shake it up, yeah. Yeah, they're in there. They'll need a lot of growth.
Wow, yeah, they're crawling around.
Yeah,
it's not pleasant.
You can see them crawling in there.
Yeah.
These are not even, these are like the mealworms that you feed to lizards.
No, they're red worms.
Are they really?
Good for composting.
Oh, Anderson! Anderson!
In your coffee,
I
perhaps?
literally, I am paralyzed with fear.
I put it back. It's back in its home environment. All right, also, should we do a spring... Oh. All right, spring swing trivia go-go.